He didn't lose the job in a boardroom vote. He lost it the moment everyone stopped trusting him. Tommy Norris may still be sitting in the president's chair in Landman Season 2, Episode 6, but let's be honest, that chair is already wobbling. And the shocking part, it's not because he's incompetent, it's because he's in the way. This episode makes one thing painfully clear. Tommy isn't being pushed out loudly. He's being squeezed out quietly, slowly, politely, with smiles, handshakes, and deals signed before he can even finish a sentence. Look at the pattern. Since Monty's death, Tommy has been living on borrowed authority, interim president, temporary power, a title that sounds strong but actually means don't get too comfortable. And Cammy? She didn't inherit grief. She inherited control. MTEX is her legacy project now, and Tommy is starting to feel less like a leader and more like a reminder of risks she doesn't want to repeat. Episode 6 doesn't scream betrayal, it whispers it. The Fort Worth horse auction should have been Tommy's moment. A $400 million offshore deal, high stakes, careful negotiation. The exact kind of situation where a president proves his worth. Except Cammy doesn't wait. She doesn't ask. She doesn't even look at him. She accepts Galino's offer mid-negotiation. 60-40, performance bonus, done. That wasn't confidence. That was a public vote of no confidence. And here's the uncomfortable truth Tommy refuses to face. Once a company senses hesitation at the top, sharks start circling. Galino even says it out loud. If oil money smells doubt, it doesn't hesitate. It replaces. Tommy knows this game. He's played it before, and he's lost before. The 2008 financial crisis wasn't just history. It was a stain. Tommy's company collapsed because he couldn't hedge risk. Monty survived. MTEX survived. Tommy didn't. And Cammy hasn't forgotten that. To her, Tommy isn't a survivor. He's a warning label. So every disaster hits harder. The offshore rig, the truck accident, the H2S leak. Not all his fault, but all happening on his watch. And now, instead of running operations, he's trapped in meetings, politics, and perception. The ground level chaos keeps growing while he's busy trying to prove he still belongs in the corner office. And let's talk about trust, because that's the real currency here. Cammy trusts Galino more than Tommy. Read that again. Yes, the cartel-linked financier. The snake who admits he's a snake. The man Tommy openly doesn't trust. Yet his money is welcome. His advice is heard. His poem is recommended. That should terrify Tommy more than any board vote, because when your enemy becomes your boss's favorite voice, you're already losing. Galino doesn't need to fire Tommy. He just needs to keep reminding Cammy that Tommy hesitates while he delivers. And here's the cruel irony. Galino might be the only person who actually wants Tommy to stay president. Not out of loyalty, out of amusement, out of control, out of the pleasure of watching a hawk struggle in a cage he helped design. Tommy thinks stepping down and returning to being a landman would be dignity. But what if that's exactly what everyone else wants him to do? So ask yourself this. Is Tommy about to be fired? Or is he being cornered into walking away before the real bloodbath begins? Tommy Norris isn't being removed because he's weak. He's being removed because he's predictable. Episode 6 makes that painfully obvious. Tommy still believes experience earns loyalty. MTEX has already moved on to a different rule. Results earn survival. And right now, Tommy represents caution in a world that wants speed, risk, and silence. Look closely at Cammy's behavior. She never says the words, "You're fired." She doesn't have to. Every decision she makes speaks louder. She bypasses him. She finalizes deals without him. She listens to Galino while Tommy explains. That's not partnership. That's demotion without paperwork. And the reason cuts deeper than business. Tommy isn't just a failed hedge fund memory from 2008. He's a walking reminder of Monty's era. Cammy isn't trying to run MTEX like Monty did. She's trying to protect Monty's legacy by erasing the risk attached to it. And in her eyes, Tommy is that risk. That offshore rig, if it collapses, MTEX collapses with it. And Cammy knows only one lifeline exists: Galino's money. Dirty or not, it's fast. It's decisive. It doesn't hesitate. Tommy does. That's the real crime. Tommy asks questions. Tommy slows things down. Tommy wants safeguards. But this business doesn't reward hesitation. It punishes it, especially when lives, oil, and reputation are already leaking. Even Galino spells it out. Oil sharks don't wait. They sense doubt and move in. And right now, Cammy's doubt in Tommy is louder than anything he says. So where does that leave him? Isolated, TL's emotional breakdown, family history, regret, grief. All of it humanizes Tommy, but none of it strengthens his position. Sympathy doesn't protect presidents. Power does. And Tommy's power is slipping through his fingers while everyone pretends nothing is wrong. Even Rebecca's storyline mirrors it. Awkward connections, poor timing, trust forming where it shouldn't. Landman isn't subtle. It's showing us that misplaced trust is the season's real villain. And then there's Galino's quiet chess move. He compares himself to a snake, Tommy to a hawk. Sounds poetic, sounds harmless. But listen closely. A snake doesn't fight a hawk. It waits, it coils, it lets gravity do the work. Galino doesn't need Tommy gone immediately. He needs him dependent, unsure, cornered. Because a weakened president is easier to manipulate than a confident landman. And Cammy, she's already dependent on Galino's cash, on his reassurance, on his vision. Whether she admits it or not, she's closer to Galino's orbit than Tommy's. And once that happens, leadership changes are only a matter of timing. So what happens next? Tommy steps down voluntarily. Cammy saves face. Galino tightens his grip. No firing, no scandal. Just a quiet replacement wrapped in necessity. But here's the final twist. What if Tommy staying president is actually the most dangerous outcome of all? Because if Galino succeeds in keeping him there, is Tommy still the man in charge? Or just the name on the door while someone else pulls every string?